Welcome back, y'all. Today we will be breaking down our offensive line in 2025. I know a lot of folks have been asking about this, so I went ahead, watched a ton of film on all the guys that are eligible to return in 2025. I'll give you my thoughts. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. All right, y'all, let's start off with our tackle room. This will be the deepest room on the offensive line moving forward. So we have Lance Hurd up at the top, listed at 6'6", 340 pounds. He's had 566 left tackle snaps this season. 294 of those were in pass protection. He's only given up one sack, but 17 pressures. The 17 pressures is the most on the team. Right behind him is John Campbell. I think he's at like 16, but 5 of those pressures came from the Arkansas game. So Lance Hurd was just way out of shape to start the season off, y'all. We talked about that so much, but now that he's back in shape, he looks good, okay? It's not perfect, but he looks really good. There's a lot of things that I love about his game, and there's glimpses and flashes of a Pro Bowl left tackle with him. So if he could just continue to get himself in better and better shape, work on his footwork some, he's going to be absolutely, shut down, locked down on Nico's blind side. So I'm definitely looking forward to having him returning to us next season to protect Nico's blind side. Now, the next player is Larry Johnson. He's listed at 6'7", about 350 pounds. He's had 110 left tackle snaps this season, and 45 of those were in pass protection. He's given up 0 sacks and only 2 pressures. Now, the interesting thing about Larry Johnson is he hasn't played right tackle this season. I don't know why, but I could have sworn he had some right tackle snaps. Either way, I think that he's probably going to get the first chance to start at right tackle next season. He's looked very consistent, especially later on in the season. I think that he was our most consistent offensive lineman versus Oklahoma. He had a really good game versus them, whether that's run blocking, whether that's pass blocking. I think that he's starting to figure things out. He's very strong at the point of contact, and he also moves well for his size. I mean, this is a gigantic human being that can pull around and all that type of stuff. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing, how much better he's going to get between now and the start of next season. Next player is Jesse Perry. He is a true freshman. He's listed at 6'6", 310 pounds. He's had 52 right tackle snaps this season. 23 of those were in pass protection, 0 sacks given up, and 0 pressures. Now, he hasn't had a whole lot of, pass blocking opportunities, but that's still very impressive for a true freshman. I'm going to tell you this right here, right now. I think that he can be special. There's a lot of things that I love about him. Obviously, with him being so young, he still has to get stronger, he still has to get bigger and all that type of stuff. But his foundation is absolutely beautiful. His run blocking looks good. His pass blocking is what really just has blown me away. Yeah, he hasn't gone up against the best competition, but keep in mind how young he is and how much he's going to grow, physically, mentally, just as a player, period, between now and next season. Typically, players take the biggest jump between years 1 and year 2. So I think that he might be, since he's gotten so many snaps at right tackle, maybe he could win that right tackle spot out over Larry Johnson. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that. But the good thing is, y'all, we have 3 very good tackles, I believe, that should be ready for next season. Now, let's come on down to the next player, Bennett Warren, listed at 6'7", 342 pounds. Y'all see how big all these players are? But so he's had 17 left tackle snaps, and he's had 15 right tackle snaps, and he's only had 8 pass blocks on the season. He's given up 0 sacks and 0 pressures. Now, he's another one that I was very much blown away by how quickly he can move. I mean, he looks good pulling around and things like that. He's also very strong, at the point of contact. Looks good in run blocking, looks good in pass blocking. He does need to continue to, just get stronger, just like all the other freshmen, but also his footwork. He's got to work on stopping those speed rushes. And I could pretty much echo that same sentiment for all of our tackles because not very many of them look good doing it. Really, Jesse Perry might look the most natural doing it just from the films that I've watched. But Bennett Warren, man, he's another one. You see that we played him at left tackle and at right tackle. So it'll be interesting to see where is he going to get the most burn at next year. But it, kind of feels like the staff does want to maybe swing him from spot to spot. So that's going to be good for us moving forward to have that swing tackle because we will be losing Dane Davis. Next up, we have Gage Ginther listed at 6'5", 310 pounds. He's had 19 left tackle snaps, 4 pass blocks, 0 sacks given up, but 3 pressures. So with Gage Ginther, he definitely, I think he's at least one more year away from really helping this team out, especially playing at tackle. He's got to get a lot stronger, and he's got to get his technique. I mean, all that type of stuff. It's got to get significantly better. Now, keep in mind, especially with these freshmen, haven't seen them, since like that Kent State game. So these guys probably have improved significantly since this film that we're looking at right here, right now. But I think the Gage Ginther, man, he does have all the tools. He just needs to keep on working on his craft. And, we'll see. Will we try him out some at, maybe guard? I think that he might be better playing at guard. But, as of right now, the staff wants him to play tackle. So let's come on down to Jeremiah Hurd, listed at 6'8", 320 pounds. He's had 8 left tackle snaps this season, and he has had no pass protection whatsoever. But in those, run blocks, he looked okay. Now, he's another one just from a sheer, understanding how to play offensive line perspective. He looks like he's a ways off, but again, man, he probably looks way better at this point in the season. So I just want to see him continue to work on his technique. But man, just as far as an athlete, dude, 6'8", 320 pounds and carries it perfectly. He's going to be one that, once he does get things figured out, I think that he will be a very, very good left tackle. Now, last player inside of this tackle room is going to be Trevor Duncan, listed at 6'6", 300 pounds. He's had 8 right tackle snaps. We all know that he moved from defensive line to right tackle, but he's another one, man. He's built to play tackle. He's got those long arms. He's got good height. I think that he moves well. He's got very strong hands. He has that dog to him. So I would love to see him get some more opportunities, but he's another one that does need to continue to grow just in being an offensive lineman. But the good thing about, these last 2 players that we talked about is their ceiling is going to be very, very high because they're, extremely new to this. So I think that they will improve significantly, over the course of this season and then all the off season next year. Next is our guard room, and we have Sham Umarov up at the top, listed at 6'7", 330 pounds. He's had 48 left guard snaps, and he's had 6 right guard snaps, 20 pass blocks on the season. He's given up 0 sacks, but 2 pressures. Those numbers aren't great if you've only dropped back in pass pro 20 times. But I think that he's looked really good, like especially versus Mississippi State. Man, he is night and day different from what we saw earlier this year. So I'm very proud of Sham, just in being big, being strong, being fast, being agile. He looks beautiful in run block. And actually, I would feel comfortable and confident with him playing at either guard spot for us, to finish out this season. Maybe not as a starter, but if he has to come in and spell somebody, I feel very good about what he might do just because he looked very good versus Mississippi State. That's an SEC team. So I think that he's, he might be one of the guys that would get the first opportunity to start at one of the guard spots next year, whether that's left or right side. I think that he could most definitely hold us down. Now let's talk about Aiden Bustle. He's 6'5", 300 pounds. He's had 48 right guard snaps, 12 pass blocks. He's given up 0 sacks and only 1 pressure, but that's still, that's not 100% great because you've only dropped back to, pass protect 12 times, but you did give up that 1 pressure. Either way, I think that he's looked pretty solid. He does need to work on maybe getting a little bit stronger. He's got to work on his technique some, but really for him, I think it's more about getting that pop, getting that burst. So he's got to get inside of that weight room. And I would really have to anticipate that at this point in the season, he probably looks, pretty solid. You know what I mean? I think that we can trust him too moving forward next season. We have to keep in mind that the players will continue to grow. They're going to continue to get better. So what we're looking at is more of, where their floor is. But I think that Aiden Bustle will most definitely get things figured out. And he's a guy that we should be able to kind of, lean on next season. Last player as far as the guards go is Max Anderson, 6'5", 311 pounds, 27 left guard snaps, 4 pass blocks, and he's given up 1 sack and 1 pressure, which is absolutely horrible numbers. But same thing that we talked about with all these other freshmen. He's just got to get stronger. That's his biggest deal. Once he puts on that weight, once he gets stronger, once he gets quicker, I think that he's going to be fine too because he does have that mean streak. And I think that he's got pretty solid fundamentals and technique and things like. Obviously, it can always get better, especially with the freshmen. But I think that his foundation, there's a lot for us to work with there. So I really do like Max Anderson. I don't know if we would call him a guy that we're looking forward to, really playing for us next season. But I think that he could be a really nice depth piece. Again, we have no idea how much these players are going to change from this point, to the start of next season. They will grow significantly. So there's going to be a whole lot of open competition with the tackles and with the guards. Now, I haven't brought up David Sanders yet, but he will be coming up as a true freshman next season. I think that he could play at tackle or at guard. He probably has a better chance to play at guard for us next year because the tackle room is so deep. But, I would not be surprised to see us try him in a lot of different spots. But I do think that David Sanders is good enough that he will probably get some pretty solid playing time for us next season. Last group that we'll be looking at today will be our centers, and we have William Satterwhite, who's listed at 6'3", 300 pounds. He's had 45 center snaps this season and 19 pass blocks. He's given up 0 sacks and 0 pressures. So I love watching William Satterwhite go to work. I mean, it looks exactly how it looked on his high school film, man. He's just that, scrappy, feisty, play to the echo of the daggone whistle, sort of a center that just like Cooper Mays, right? I mean, he's almost like a Cooper Mays clone. He's Cooper Mays 2.0. There's a lot of things that I love about his game, but clearly still, as a true freshman, I've said this for every single one of them, he's got to get bigger. He's got to get stronger because we need him to, be able to move bodies. But he is so quick. He gets up to the second level effortlessly. And I do think that he's going to be the starter for us next season. I definitely trust him because, again, looking at his floor right now, that looks really good. Next player is going to be Vyson Lang, listed at 6'4", 340 pounds. He's had 44 center snaps this season and 10 pass blocks, 0 sacks given up, 0 pressures. So Bryson Lang looks good playing at center just because he's stout. He doesn't get moved very easily. I also kind of like him maybe playing at guard. But I would say at this point, maybe I like William Satterwhite more just because Satterwhite's got that quickness to him. Whereas Bryson Lang, he doesn't move as well. Again, he's probably, more stout. He's not going to get moved as much, but he's also not as quick. And playing center, especially inside of this offense, you're going to have to be quick because people love bringing pressure up our A gap. So that's the thing, man, that I guess probably concerns me the most about Vyson Lane, but it really wouldn't be no thing for him just to, cut 10, 15 pounds and maybe get just a little bit quicker. But the good news is, y'all, we have 2 true centers on this team, and we will be adding more because obviously Nick Moore is coming up next season, and I really like his game film. Also think that, Tony Agumoro is another guy that could maybe play at center, but to me, he's more of a guard body. Either way, we have some really good prospects coming up. I still feel more inclined to say that David Sanders is the one that would probably have the best opportunity to actually see the field. But man, this offensive line, it could be special. I think that the talent level is going to be higher next season than it was this season. I think that we will have more talent. And, I think that, maybe it could kind of pick up where this offensive line left off at. But that's it for this video. Please let me know y'all's thoughts down in the comments section. And as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share with your friends, family, and other volunteer fans. See y'all on the next one. Thanks. Peace.